Beneath the quiet hills of central Turkey, under fields baked by sunlight and villages full of ordinary life, there is a city that was never meant to be seen. It doesn't rise with towers or walls. It descends straight down into the earth. Its name is Derinkuyu, and it is one of the most unsettling achievements in human history. A fully functional underground city capable of hiding 20,000 people, their animals, their food, their faith, and their fear sealed away from the surface world. This was not a cave. This was survival architecture. Derinkuyu came back into the world by accident. In 1963, a local homeowner was renovating his basement when his hammer broke through a wall. Instead of soil or stone, the wall opened into darkness. A room appeared, then another, then a narrow passage that dropped deeper into the ground. Authorities were called. Archaeologists followed the tunnel downward. What they found beneath the modern town stunned them. Layer after layer of carved stoned chambers, stairways disappearing into shadow, doors heavier than cars, and an entire city no one remembered living in. A city that had been hiding in silence for centuries. Entering Derinkuyu feels like leaving the present behind. Daylight disappears within seconds. The air cools immediately. Down here, the temperature never changes, hovering around a constant 13 degrees Celsius, or 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Summer heat never reaches it. Winter frost never touches it. That stability was no accident. It was engineered. A place where human bodies could endure long confinement without freezing or overheating. But temperature alone doesn't keep people alive. Air does. And Derinkuyu had mastered that too. The city breathes through more than 50 ventilation shafts carved through solid volcanic rock. Some stretch over 50 meters straight up to the surface. These shafts worked like lungs, pulling fresh air deep into the lowest levels, while pushing stale air out. Engineers shaped them carefully to prevent smoke buildup and to stop enemies from climbing down easily. Many of these shafts doubled as wells, reaching untouched groundwater far below the surface. Even if the land above was burning, poisoned, or crawling with invaders, the people below could still drink, breathe, and survive. Every level of the city had a purpose. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. The upper floors were reserved for animals, goats, sheep, donkeys. Their warmth helped regulate temperature. Their milk and meat sustained life. Their presence was essential. The stables were placed near ventilation shafts, so ammonia and smells could escape, preventing sickness below. Stone feeding troughs, still visible today, line the walls like frozen echoes of daily routines. Below the stables were storage chambers, vast rooms, lined with massive clay jars taller than a human. These jars once held grain, lentils, dried fruit, olive oil, and wine. Entire harvests were sealed away here. Enough food to support thousands of people through sieges that could last months, possibly longer. Nothing in Derinkuyu suggests short-term hiding. This was preparation for prolonged isolation. Deeper still were living quarters. Hundreds of compact rooms carved just large enough for sleeping. Families lived close together, sharing heat and space. Privacy was a luxury sacrificed for survival. Communal kitchens sat nearby, with carefully designed chimneys that pulled smoke upward through hidden channels. Not a single wisp of smoke was allowed to reach the surface. Smoke meant discovery. Discovery meant annihilation. At the heart of the city, nearly 7 levels underground, sat a church. Its ceiling was carved into the shape of a cross. The room is simple, quiet, and heavy with atmosphere. Oil lamps once flickered here, throwing shadows across stone walls as whispered prayers filled the darkness. Faith was not abandoned. Underground it was safeguarded. When the surface world became dangerous, belief followed people into the earth. But Derinkuyu was not built only for living. It was built for defense. The tunnels are narrow, sloped, and deliberately uncomfortable. An invading force would have to crouch, crawl, and advance one person at a time. Weapons would be difficult to swing. Armor would slow movement. Meanwhile, defenders who knew the layout could move quickly, silently, confidently. Many passages twist suddenly or end without warning. Some lead nowhere at all. Intruders would be swallowed by darkness, disoriented, exhausted, and terrified. Then came the doors. Massive circular stone, slabs some weighing more than 1,000 pounds, were carved to fit perfectly into tunnel walls. These were rolled into place from the inside. Once sealed, the only opening was a small central hole, just large enough to observe, speak through, or drive a spear into anyone on the other side. Each level had its own door. Even if attackers breached one level, the city could retreat downward, sealing itself layer by layer like a living organism pulling back into its shell. Who built Derinkuyu remains debated. Some scholars believe the earliest tunnels were carved by the Hittites around 1500 BCE, using bronze tools and generations of labor. Others argue that early Christians later expanded it, using the city as refuge from Roman persecution and later Arab invasions. What's clear is this Derinkuyu wasn't built in one era. It evolved. It was shaped over centuries by people who feared the surface world enough to prepare for its collapse. Imagine living here. Weeks turn into months without sunlight. Time loses meaning. The sun no longer marks mornings or nights. Oil lamps become the only stars. Stone walls replace the sky. Children grow up never knowing if the world above is safe or even real. Sounds are muted. Every footstep echoes. Every noise matters. Even waste was carefully managed. Garbage pits were carved deep below living spaces. Underground water channels carried waste away, preventing disease. Even death was planned for. Burial chambers were prepared for those who didn't survive long sieges. Nothing was left to chance, and Derinkuyu was not alone. More than 200 underground cities have been discovered across Cappadocia. Some small, some vast, many connected by long tunnels stretching for kilometers. Ancient stories and geological surveys suggest Derinkuyu may have once been linked to another underground city miles away. A hidden network beneath the earth. A civilization designed not to conquer but to vanish. So why was it abandoned? No clear answer survives. Perhaps the threats faded. Perhaps disease spread in the enclosed spaces. Or maybe generations passed, and people simply forgot how to live without the sky. By the 14th century, Derinkuyu was sealed. Its entrances hidden, its air shafts filled. The city slipped into myth, then into silence. Today, Derinkuyu is both museum and mystery. Only 8 levels are open to visitors, less than 10% of the city. Metal gates block stairways that descend into flooded darkness. Modern instruments still detect empty chambers beyond mapped areas. Rooms no human has entered for over 1,000 years remain sealed, preserved, untouched. Walking through it now is unsettling. Electric lights cast harsh shadows on walls scarred by ancient tools. Visitors move single file, instinctively lowering their voices. Hands, brush grooves, carved by people who expected never to be found. In the church, silence deepens. In the stables, stone rings used to tie animals still cling to the walls. The massive stone doors remain frozen open, no longer guarding anything yet still radiating threat. Above ground, life continues. If this journey beneath the surface gripped you, support the channel by liking and sharing. Every interaction helps uncover more forgotten places like this. Subscribe for deeper dives into history's darkest corners.